Can Rogue Lineage be saved? This is a question I often think about after dying to a 1 combo because of a Fisherin Shinobi hitting me with a single snap snarv into a single Bane M1 backstab combo. In this video, I'll try and suggest balancing changes to the game Rogue Lineage that could potentially balance it more. This includes nerfs and buffs to most, if not every class in the game as of now. But before we get into that, did you guys know that only about 10% of the people who watch my videos are subscribed? If you're in the 90% that aren't, you should see that little sus red button. You see that right there? Press it and make it gray so it's no longer sus. Now let's get into it. First of all, let's cover Shinobi, one of the most popular classes in the game. Currently, Shinobi has the highest DPS in the game, and backstab M1s do 18 damage per M1, being the same as Soul and Sword, which is comparable to most artifacts in strength and obtainability. However, faceless M1s don't do nearly as much as this, but I'll cover that later. So, I propose a nerf to Tonto backstab damage. Right now, Tonto does 6 damage per M1 and 18 to backstab, but I think it should do 2.25 times damage instead of 3 times with backstab. This would make it 14 per M1 with backstab. I think this would be much more fair because with 14 max Tonto DPS, doesn't exceed the weapons that should be stronger, such as Abyssal Greatsword at 16 and Solin's at 18. Next up is Grapple. Grapple is a huge issue for the health of the game. It offers near infinite vertical movement, which can only be rivaled by Hoppa and I guess Spy double jump, except in K. Everyone has verticality in K, but I don't care about K. Now, vertical mobility is a huge benefit because it's the only class in Gaia with it. A Faceless and a Spy can outrun a Shinobi in basic ground race because Shinobi armor is inherently slow in comparison. However, you probably won't be able to catch them because in both Gaia and K, cliffs are a huge factor, and being able to climb them quicker makes it so much harder for people to catch you, even if you're slower than them on the ground. About Grapple has a range of around 24 studs from what I did testing. That could be a bit off by a few studs, which means it's nearly impossible to outrun them because they're in range of Grapple at all times. So I propose another nerf to Grapple in range from 22 studs to 14 studs. This is a range that won't let Shinobis outright catch anyone, but it will allow them to keep players in combat range and be a much more oppressive tool than before, instead of just being a tool that can be used to catch out anyone in any situation. This would also force Shinobis to use their brains and decide when they should grapple opponents and when they shouldn't. I have one buff idea for Shinobi, and I know Shinobi mains, you're typing a comment right now about how your class takes skill, but you're gonna like this, you're gonna like my idea for the buff. I promise. I really promise. Shinobi Bane. Shinobi Bane and Faceless Bane are entirely different. So as many people don't know, Bane isn't a teleport on M1. It's actually a chance to teleport on M1. And after doing 5 sample groups, 100 M1s during Bane, 5 times, it's 500, just about 85% of Faceless M1s would teleport. However, Shinobi Bane is closer to 60 to 70% from what I found, which is a huge difference. The length between Shinobi and Faceless Bane is also really far, with Shinobi Bane being about half the time of Faceless Bane because they still have Superclass Bane. And this forces Shinobis to only use Bane as a tool to hold combos because it's almost entirely useless to start them. Therefore, Shinobi Bane should last about an extra 6 seconds, and the chance should be about equal to Faceless teleport chance, sitting at around 80 to 85%. Now, the final nerf I have is for Shadow Rush and Owl Slash. As of now, perfect blocking Shadow Rush and Owl Slash doesn't allow you to punish the Shinobi who attempted to hit you with those moves. I think that if you perfect block either of these moves, the Shinobi should lose all midair momentum and fall right in front of you while stunned. Because, you timed your block properly and they don't even get punished for it. Currently, they just kind of keep going up and away and you have no reason to not just mana shield, because there's no benefit. I also think that Owl Slash Aerial shouldn't hit you guaranteed, because even if you mana shield, they can punch move stack to guarantee of all their moves hit. Now, this nerf would actually make it so they have to time their Shadow Rush Aerial, because, this nerf would also make punch stacks not force Aerial Slash anymore, so Shinobis would be forced to punch stack with only Owl Slash, making this combo not just do 60% of your health for no reason in Gaia. Alright, the Shinobi section was a bit too long, so let's get on to Dinakari. Now, old Dinakari used to break their legs every time they popped a rune, which made them useless before Rune Mastery. But then they removed Rune Mastery and made them not break their legs. Now, this was definitely a bit too much, but now Dinakari is just super busted in one of the top races in the game, and I think they should get some sort of debuff during runes. And I propose maybe they could have like a 20% damage vulnerability during runes. They do 75% more damage and they have 20% less health during the rune. I think that would make it a lot more balanced. Or maybe after a rune, they could have like a limited time of Regan Flood debuff where their mana is capped at like 50%. And also, runes in general should just have a cooldown of some sort, because I'm pretty sure that Dinakaries have a very short cooldown on runes. By the way, make runes not work with magic. Just make it not work with magic at all, because Dinakari druids shouldn't be a thing, and I want them to wipe, so just make runes like Dragon Blood where it doesn't work with magic anymore, because it's so stupid. Fisherin has been nerfed a few times, and I would say it's more balanced now, but they've still got a few problems. Mostly Snarv. Snarv shouldn't just do 50% because you're a Fisherin, and I say nerf Fisherin Snarv affinity and bring it from 25% extra damage down to 15%. It would still be worth going, just not the one-tap build it was before, because right now, I could be on a Gaian Oni, and with one Soul Snap, which only takes away 9 health, a single Fish Snarv gets me down by like 40-50%. It's so stupid. So, just nerf that, please. And make Gaian work with Percussions like it should. Archmage, it just doesn't work. Gaian doesn't have Percussions affinity. Next up is Illusionist. Globus is first up. This spell is actually brain dead. Now, if you can hear my voice getting deeper, it's because I'm not having fun talking about Illusionist. Because, well, if you're fighting a chaotic class, there's literally nothing they can do unless they're Oni, in which case they can still be combo locked. Make Globus mana shieldable, or just make it have some type of cooldown, because right now it's just way too effective against literally 60% of Gaia. Not only that, but half of the Illusionist skills they get are literally useless. The border move, or whatever it's called, isn't very good, and it's only usable in one way, and that's if you're trying to run into Deep Forest and everyone chasing you happens to be chaotic. I say give that barrier move that I forgot the name of a buff or a complete rework. Maybe it could like knock back all players that touch it and be up for 15 seconds, so it'd be usable in intended use cases, such as escaping and things like that. And also just like, why? Why does this class exist? Just remove it from the game, please. Dragon Sage got hit really hard with the nerfs, and it's pretty much unusable in Gaia, so I think they should buff it in some way. I think a full revert of its nerfs would be way too powerful, but as it is, now it's currently garbage. Maybe, like, add the M2 ragdolls back, but make it so they can't be hit by more than 1 or 2 within one ragdoll state, making infinite combos not a thing. And also, make Azale's just not entirely immune to Fire Fist and Fire Fist M2, because it is genuinely brain dead how that works. Yeah, like, oh, your fist has fire on it, so now it's going through my body. Like, bro, there's still a fist under the fire. D-Slayer in its current state just does a ton of damage really fast, and Snap Ignis only makes it work. Dragon Blood Snap Ignis Thunder Spear Crusher combo does about 110 damage. That's not a joke, I did the calculations. 110 damage. That's actually just so stupid, because that means 2 moves does, let's do some calculations. 60% of a light class's health. Just overall, I guess, nerf Dragon Blood and everything's all good. Or maybe, you know, make the AoE moves just do less damage. Oh, Spy. Oh god, this class has been through the rework grinder tons of times, and it's just not good. In Spy's Prime, Silverguard blocked 90% of all incoming damage, and now it does no damage at all. Interrogate just needs to be replaced because it's absolutely brain dead, and it's a crutch for the class as a whole. Elegant Slash was fine before its nerf, and I honestly think a full reversion would be fine. And all of Spy's moves, as of now, get this, are both mana and metal blockable. Which means you can hold F and a Spy's entire combo is nullified. This Spy has Snarv, you hold F, you block all of his moves, you block the Snarv, you press your macro, he's dead. It's genuinely stupid, and this is just awful. So I think that Elegant Slash should break Mana Shield, or Normal Block, and Needle's Eye should break Mana Shield. Actually, let me rephrase that. I think Elegant Slash should break Mana Shield, and Needle's Eye should break Flesh Block. This would give Spy 2 moves used to start up combos, and Spies would need to use their brains to decide which moves to use in certain situations. This would make the class a lot more balanced, as well as giving it some tools that are more offensive, because right now you hold out your Mana Shield, and unless the Spy has Snarv, there's nothing he can do. It's awful. It's really bad. So, just buff Spy. Not too much, though. Dark Sigil is a similar case of Spy, except without the crutch move. That's absolutely useless after the first encounter. Right now, Dark Sigil has no combo potential without magic, and even the combos that they can do are pretty easy to get out of. So, I suggest a new move that could be a combo starter or a distance closer, because most of Dark Sigil is open by spamming Tomeless or Dark Eruption. However, holding F with Mana Shield completely stops this. Dark Sigil currently needs some sort of move that breaks Mana Shield and closes distance to help start off combos, and maybe some sort of Rift or Teleport move with a long cooldown. It could be similar to the K Uber Dark Sigil M2, except it would be a skill and it would do damage and cause a stun, and this move would break Mana Shield, and that actually sounds pretty OP, so maybe not the Mana Shield part. But, like, it just... Dark Sigil just needs anything, honestly. Sigil Knight is in a fine spot right now, and it needs no changes, honestly. Deep Knight is also in a fine spot, but I think stopping Regen for, what, like 15-20 seconds? Maybe nerf that move slightly, because in its current state, light classes and vamps can't even fight Deep Knights without health potions. Nerf Mages in general, just disable Shriekers and Snail because that's stupid and it's a crutch for Necro. Buff Necro because it's pretty much useless other than that. Hoppa needs a larger cooldown or something because it's also pretty brain dead and it's a free escape, blah blah blah. Nerf Mage, I don't like mages. If you play Mage, kill yourself. Riggin and Hassledin are actually just awful races, and it's so sad. Flood is just a worse rune with an hour-long cooldown. Remove the mana cap on Flood and give it a shorter cooldown, maybe about 10 to 20 minutes or something stupid. Not even that, I feel like that's still too long, because Flood is just actually awful. Hassledin has, like, no benefits, and they're supposed to be the warrior race, so maybe give them some sort of warrior benefits, because they don't get those. They only get a bad res because it leaves them one-shot anyway. Oh god, almost forgot about Scroom, but it's honestly not that bad after it's semi-buff and Metal Scroom exists, so I don't even think I really gotta talk about Scroom. Alright, now it's time for useless garbage in this game's spell department. Armis. Useless after the nerf. I think Armis should be reverted, however its interaction with Snap Viridian should be changed, and it should have a cooldown of about 4 to 6 seconds. Easy change makes a spell useful but not broken. Now, when I say change the way it interacts with Snap Viridian, just make it not work on Snap Viridian users. Alright, just make it not work. Now, Snap Viribus is quite the opposite. It needs a big nerf. Give it a cooldown of about like 6 to 8 seconds, and it should be much more balanced. Snap Thimble, garbage. Snap Talorum, garbage. Snap Nocier, situationally strong. Snap Velo, garbage. So there's only like 5 snaps that are maybe valid for non-mage players, so you should probably fix that, Archmage. Oh yeah, also, why is Contrarium a god spell again? It's a move that, it's a spell, but like, it counters mages, but only mages can use it, you know? Now, my final magic complaint is Tomeless as a whole. As of now, it's way too strong, and I think casting ranges should be a lot tighter, and it should definitely take longer to cast, because the cast time between Tomeless and Tomed is, like, nothing. So, yeah. Alright, now is artifacts. Currently, the only artifacts that I don't think need changing are Rift Gem and Nightstone. I would say Nightstone needs a nerf, but since you can glitch day, it's pretty much fine at this point. However, I think the implementation of a new artifact called a Sunstone would be cool, and it would force day and overpower Nightstones, you know. It wouldn't be good, but, like, it would be good against vamps. But, as I was saying, first up is Howler's Friend. In its current state, it's pretty much useless if you're not a Snapgate Spy. And even then, Howlers aren't that strong, let's be real. You can beat a Howler, you can beat up a Howler with your fist in a cliff, you know? So, I think a good buff for this would be to bring back Howler summoning. If it would summon a single, slightly weaker Howler, but it would still be better than Shrieker summoning, and it wouldn't take an artifact slot. Because, you know, it's okay. Spider Cloak recently got buffed, actually, while I was recording this audio, so cut that out of the video, but Spider Cloak is actually fine as is now. Cameo is just kind of bad. I don't think 9 lives is really worth not having Tomeless, because unless you're D-Sigil or D-Sage, you can't really fight most people. And D-Sage is bad now, so who cares? And Cameo can Mana Shield, but they're at a sizable disadvantage having no magic, which is often used to close distances and even turn around fights. It just needs some sort of buff because it's really bad. Philosopher's Stone, Brain Dead, some sort of cooldown on Philo, so mages can only Philo cast once every, like, X amount of seconds, so they can't just spam Snap Snarv and Snap Perk at 20% and just win. You know, this would make Mage less brain dead than it is without Philo. Scream Key. Metal Scream is honestly just inferior than Gaia in almost every way. They have 500% health and Decompose, but that's not useful when Ignis and Gelidus can just be used. Also, the only thing Metal Scream has over Gaian is Exhaust, which is good, but 25% is not as much as people think it is. Even then, Gaian's armor is just so much better than every other armor in the game at this point, it's not worth losing. Basically, Metal Scream is just too weak to be an artifact, and I don't know how you could buff it, but, like, you should. That's the end of the artifact section, but Archmage, please remove resurrections from the game. They're a crutch for bad players who need 2 lives to win fights. Now is K balancing, which is the final section for this video. First of all, Godstruck, K didn't carry, nerf that, it's so dumb. Gets screwed by multi-hits, but it's almost as good as Prime Silverguard. Uber D Sigil, make its health worse or make it not stack with certain things as well. K Madrazian Dark Sigil has 450 health, and K didn't carry Dark Sigil has 1250 health. That's literally more than Archmage has, which is 1,000. Nerf Uber Lich Mage, and remove ability, and remove M2 spam with D Rider, and remove Flight from K, and remove K from the game. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I really hope Archmage actually takes this video into some sort of thought if he sees it, because I do talk a lot of trash about this game. Anyway, subscribe, join my Discord, and be epic. By the way, Archmage, I'm pretty sure you're watching this, so, do it.